You're listening to the School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast with me, Maury Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next comedian.
Shouldn't drink on an empty head, you know that, don't you?
That is the shittiest heckle I have ever heard in my life.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
What's a bucket list?
You have dangerously underprepared yourself for the shit that is about to get real.
What good can come out of a dare? Well, for Dave Ivkovic, a stand-up comedy career spanning over 20 years. Today, Dave travels all over Australia for comedy, and as you'll hear, has been a regular face at the Comics Lounge in Melbourne. In this School of Hard Knock Knocks podcast episode, Dave, who also happens to be a Jiu Jitsu sensei, provides some life and comedy career advice by reminding us that knowing is the enemy of learning, and if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room. Yep, we go deep. Dave Ivkovic is also the resident teacher at the Geelong stand-up comedy course this September 10th to 14th at Beeves Bar, with headliner Doug Chappell. If you're interested in kickstarting your comedy career and Geelong's in your neighbourhood, then book your spot now. Seats, as always, are limited. Now, here he is, Dave Ivkovic. Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm excellent. How you going, Murray?
Very good. Good to get you. It's almost noon, actually, so I can say good morning now. But yeah, I don't.
I was going to say I can't believe I got up this early.
Yeah, that's right. I don't normally call comedians in the morning as rule of thumb. They're normally sleeping, but you're wide awake. You've been in the comedy scene for over 20 years, I believe.
This is my 20th year, actually. Yeah.
There we go. So 20 plus and some months. Excellent. I want to go.
Yep.
I want to go way back. Of course, Dave, I know you from the School of Hard Knock Knocks and the training program that we run. But this is not about that so much, not about the school. We're going to talk about you being a comedian, getting started in the business. For people who listen to this podcast who are up-and-comers or thinking of starting a career or maybe bucket list tickers, and they just want a bit of a boost up, some advice to hit the ground running. So I'm going to go way back to that 20-year Dave Ivkovic. Yep. I heard a rumour that said you got into comedy, and a lot of comedians are in a similar situation. You got into comedy over a dare.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, what happened was I've had people over the years, people that I know or that know me, that say, geez, you're hilarious, you're funny, you should do stand-up comedy. And I never thought of it as anything other than me enjoying watching stand-up comedians. And I thought to myself, I'd be a good actor, because somebody once told me I looked like Tom Cruise. I didn't realise how drunk she was at the time. And so I thought, well, I've got the look. I might go and do an acting class. So I did an acting class. Mm-hmm. And I was just real nervous standing up in front of people because, with friends and family, they know you, and if you make a fool of yourself, they're going to laugh anyway. But with people you don't know, you don't want to look like a dickhead. So when I spoke to the teacher without the pupils around, or the other sort of students, he thought I was hilarious. Yep. When I talked in a group, I was very reserved because I was shy and reserved, which who would have thought a comedian's shy? Anyway, so... but he actually said to me, have you ever thought of doing stand-up comedy? I said, you know what, I've heard that all my life. I've never really thought about it. I just like watching it. And he says, I think you should do it. He says, in fact, I dare you. And I said, oh, okay. I said, I wouldn't even know where to go. So he actually suggested the Espy in St Kilda. Yeah, yeah. And I think if I remember the date correctly, it was June or July the 7th, 1997. Yeah, 97. And I went out and did my first show. And I'm not even sure if he turned up.
Yeah, right.
He's seen me. Yeah. The guy who dared me has actually seen me a few times. Yeah. But, in the early days, I haven't seen him for, God knows, 15 odd years.
Wow.
Maybe more. Yeah. So he was the teacher. He was actually the acting teacher.
I think the last interview was with Doug Chappell, and he got started exactly. He might have been sitting at the table beside you. I don't know if you've ever told him that story.
Yeah. I met Doug at the Espy. He started exactly a month before me. So we've known each other for a long time. But
it's a very small circle. Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Absolutely.
So how was that gig? How did you feel on that day?
I have to be honest. I was shitting myself. I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. I used to watch the Comedy Company as a child. When I was younger, in my teen years. And I didn't realise this, and I looked on stage before the comedy started, Kim Gingell, the guy who played Colin Carpenter, was on stage, and I thought,
Colin Carpenter,
holy crap, man, this is like, I was almost starstruck.
Yeah.
And I spoke to him and I met him and I thought, why is this famous guy playing I think he was a percussionist. I said, why is he playing at the Espy? I would have thought that, you'd play big halls or something like that, but I didn't know. But anyway, the first gig, my first MC was, I think Matt Ellsbury was the MC the very first time, and mate, I was packing shit, and I got out, and I did really well. I actually did really, really well, and had a guy. This sounds like me pumping myself up, but I was shitting myself. Mm-hmm. And a guy came to me and he said that he travelled. He said, I'm from Germany. He said, he didn't say that. He said, I'm from Germany. And he said, I've been around the world, and, he said, you are the best I've seen. And I thought, wow, he's delusional. Yeah. But here's the thing. My very first show, the very first gig I did was awesome. And, and I thought, oh, wow, that's all, I've done it now and that's it. And then I went back to the class and he says, you're going to do it again? I went, oh, I don't know. Should I?
Yeah, right.
He says, you got to keep going. And I said, oh, okay, So then I did it again. And for about 12 months, I didn't do well. I thought, holy crap, maybe I've only got one good gig in me, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do well, and it was actually Doug Chappell. I did one, this was back in the day before Dave Hughes was Dave Hughes. He was just, doing the circuit, just like, all the other guys, Rove, Peter Hallier. These guys have all, come through. I was talking to Hughesy, and he was emceeing, and then after I died on stage, I got off stage, I went up to Doug Chappell and said, that's it for me. I'm just not meant to be funny. And he says, do you enjoy it? I said, well, I enjoyed the laughs, and I had, I enjoyed the laughs I got in the first show, but I've had very few the last 12 months. So I said, I just don't think it's me. And he says, mate, you just got to enjoy it. Just relax. Just got to enjoy it. Do what you love. And I remember what he said. He said, do what you love. And I'm thinking, do I love it? No, I don't love not being, doing a good show. But what I did love was that one gig that I did that was fantastic. Mm. So I went out and tried to replicate that. So what I did was I came home and just started writing some new jokes.
So you tracked down Herman and got him to sit in the front row again, did you?
Yeah, I did. And I said, bring all your friends and family. That's it. You're my livelihood now. So what happened was I was part of me, I don't know whether it was fear of failing or determination to succeed, but I don't like to give up on things. And I thought I really enjoyed that one good one. I've had 12 months of garbage. I thought, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to do this. And whatever it took, and I just did it, and I, changed my mindset on things and, realized that sometimes your emotions can affect your performance and, if things are going on in your life before you go on stage, you need to leave it backstage, get on the microphone, win them over, come back, pick up your luggage, and then walk off. Yep. And so it took a lot of learning, a lot of training your brain to be able to do that. And I started to get better. And I started to improve, and I started to understand things like, don't look down, look at the audience, engage with them. A lot of it, I overcame shyness, I became stronger, and when you overcome something that you once couldn't do, well, that gives you confidence, and then the confidence builds more confidence and build more confidence, and I became unstoppable. And I thought, wow, how good is it? And I was thankful that I didn't actually walk away, because I was going to walk away. Oh. So here I am 20 years later, telling my story in a podcast. Is that what it's called?
It doesn't get much better than this.
This is it. This is worldwide, baby.
Yeah, true. Herman might be listening to this. We're assuming his name is Herman, of course. Herman the German.
Herman, thank you for the compliment 20 years ago.
Sometimes it's the little things, isn't it?
Yeah.
So at that time, so you're in your 20s. You were also in a band. Were you in a band at that time as well?
I played in bands. I was never in the band was called Stage 7. And there's nothing left of that band at all. I haven't seen the guys for over 25 years. I was a teenager. I started working when I was younger to afford to, playing a band. It's better go the other way. No, that's right. And where I was working in a furniture factory at the time, I hurt my hand.
Yep.
And put a massive scar through it. So that stopped my guitaring, and it stopped the band thing. And then for 2 years of not playing, and my arm was I used to have to carry this cast around in my arm where my fingers had to be pulled back so I could make a fist because it went stiff.
Yep.
Like, my hand was like rigor mortis after the surgery. So, it was about 12 months of no riding a motorbike, no playing the guitar, no doing anything. And, it got frustrating, but I eventually got back. And this is what happened. The band thing happened before the comedy. So I'd already hurt my hand, and I was about 18, 19 when that happened. So by 97, I was back, and I could actually play the guitar again.
Oh, good.
And that's when I started comedy.
I know that your comedy act, actually does include the guitar.
Yes. Well, what I used to do at the very start, I would play, and I'd just play a song and just change the words for a couple of lines, and just to get to the laugh. Really, I don't do a full song like I used to in the music. I didn't want to be a Weird Al Yankovic kind of guy where, redo a whole song of somebody and do a film clip and that sort of thing. That wasn't my thing. I just wanted to, make people laugh, basically, and that was it.
You've got the surname, though.
You've got a similar surname, yeah. It's funny, my surname's Ivkovic. My grandfather changed his surname to Ivkovic. His actual original name was Yankovic.
Oh, right, okay.
So how it worked? I don't know if you want to hear this. It's about the Serbian culture. My dad's Serbian, my mum's Macedonian. I was born in Australia, so there's a bit of a mix for you, right?
Right.
But the Kovic, how you have some, like Greeks have the Podopodos or Polosk or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, the Ivko was the name of one of my great grandfathers, and Janko was another one. I think Janko had kids, but Ivko didn't. So they changed it to Ivkovic to carry Ivko's name through, if that makes sense.
There you go.
That's the most boring joke I've ever told. It's not even a joke, but so that's how I became. Otherwise, I would have been Yankovic.
There you go.
Yeah. So with the guitar, if I'm doing say 20 minutes somewhere, I don't bother. But if I'm doing a full show, I did a show just last week, and did 50 minutes. I did about 30, 35 minutes, and then I picked up the guitar, because what it does in the act, I've found, is that it changes the pace.
Yep.
It's like when you watch a movie and there is you hear the drums, it's like do 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 do, and suddenly this happens, and then it's action. So it takes you. The comedy is similar to like a song. You have your talk, laugh, and then when you change the pace, you change the rhythm of the show and of the experience. I mean, most comedians have their a different way of doing the same thing. It's taking the audience, on a journey, so to speak.
And aside from doing gigs all around Victoria and New South Wales, I believe also recently, you have in the past also emceed at the Comics Lounge.
Comics Lounge, yes. Yeah. I've regularly worked there over the years, over many years, since they opened, in fact.
I saw you in a cameo. There was a little cameo of you, although I don't think you got paid for this one, the heckler. So I did an interview with CJ Fortuna, and of course he's Mike in that movie, The Heckler. There's there's actually 3 scenes where the other character walks through the door and talks down to his son who's sitting down on the couch. And there's your face. There's a headshot, black and white. It's a younger Dave Ivkovic, and with a little bit more hair, a lot more hair. I'm like, there he is, and he did it 3 times in the movie, and I kept seeing your face every time, of course, because it was right in shot. So you're quite a feature there in the green room.
Well, I did get the director of the movie, Steve. He seen me at the Comics Lounge, funnily enough, and he says, he is. And he said, there's Dave Ivkovic. And I've gone, who the hell's this guy? I didn't even know who he was, right?
Yeah, right.
And everyone on that table knew my face, was familiar with me, but I don't remember meeting any of them other than CJ.
Yep.
And that's when he says, "You did my film. You're in my film." And I thought,
Yeah.
"What film? I didn't even know anything about the film." And then he said, "Yeah." And then that photo was actually a headshot I did because I was, wanting to be a budding actor.
Yeah.
So I ended up giving it to the Comics Lounge, saying, "Here you go, put that on your wall." And they had it on there for a while. I think it's all gone now.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your MC days. And you still MC, of course.
Yep.
What is the difference between being an act and being an MC in the world of stand-up comedy?
Well, sometimes I do MC work, and people from the audience say, "You're so funny. Have you ever thought of doing comedy?"
Yeah. I can understand.
Right? And I think that people just don't understand. I believe in America it's a different vibe. In America, somebody comes out, talks, and introduces people, whereas in Australia, however we've done it well, because I think the MC carries the show. The MC comes out, warms them up, gets them going, gets them laughing, prepares the audience.
Yeah.
It's almost like a neurological conditioning of the audience of, "Hey, I talk, you laugh," and brings on the first act. Now, sometimes the first act or second or third or whatever, however many acts there are, sometimes they can do really well. Other times they don't do so well. Now, if they don't do so well, as an MC, you are generally more senior than the first few acts.
Yeah.
You come back and you bring the audience back up.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how I've been taught to do it. And I mean, that takes obviously practice. So, somebody, doesn't do so well, you bring them back up, get them laughing again, couple of minutes, bang, bring on the next person, bring on the next. If the acts between each other are kicking ass, the MC's job is really easy. Just go in there, one gag, bang.
Yep.
Please thank such and such. Please welcome next. Right? If they're all struggling, which can happen in the early days, right? The MC's job is a lot harder, but you keep it, because if the audience don't laugh for an hour of boring acts, so to speak, they tend to leave. So,
they do, and don't buy drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't buy drinks, and then they talk about how they didn't have a good time. But with an MC that's experienced, they're always going to have a good time, at least with the MC, until the feature act comes on, who is usually, more experienced than the beginners.
Yeah, understand. Because I speak to a lot of people who have done raw comedy in particular, and I often hear the complaint that they didn't do very well because the act before them was terrible and killed the audience. It sounds to me like the raw comedy, their MCs aren't there to help create an even platform for the next comedian if the person before had bombed.
I think raw comedy is, I've done raw comedy in the past, and, the judges, what they're looking for, there is no criteria. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no criteria in comedy. The only criteria is entertain them and keep them laughing, right?
Yeah.
And what people remember most about you, about any person in any situation in life, is how you made them feel. So if you see a comedian and he's hilarious or she's hilarious, but they made you feel like you want to punch her in the face or him in the face, you're not going to laugh. Even though they're hilarious, you're just not going to laugh, right? Yeah. So how you make the audience feel, right? Now, raw comedy, I think it's raw as in you come out cold, your job is to warm them up, get them laughing, and see how good you go. It's in the name, raw comedy. You're coming out to a raw audience, and that's what the MC does. The MC comes out to a raw audience. Yeah. Sometimes I believe it can be, a bad MC. I mean, not so much a bad one, but one who doesn't care because they might be there thinking, I don't give a shit. I think in comedy, this is going to sound really strange. I think in comedy, if you're going to do comedy, I think the most important thing is to treat every single show as the biggest show you're ever going to do. Because if you get complacent and you start doing shows, you're thinking, oh, look, the audience is crap, no one's laughing, da-da-da-da. If you build that in your head, you've lost before you even get on stage. Yeah. So I think, and that's something that I've said over years of experience. It takes years of experience to learn that to be automatic in your own head. So you give your all with, I've done 2 people in a crowd, 3 people. I've done 3,000 people.
Yeah, right.
It's, and the timing is different because 2 people respond really quick. 3,000 people, by the time the laughter dies down, you're silent for, maybe 6 to 8 seconds. You don't want to talk over laughter.
No.
You know what I mean? Because if you do, because the people laughing aren't hearing what you're saying next.
Yeah.
And then they go, huh? What happened? I missed that.
Yeah.
So it's a very different timing when it's a lot of people. So yeah.
But that's good advice. And then something, of course, that you do a lot of, giving advice, because you're one of our resident teachers at the School of Hard Knock Knocks, and also one of our guests that come in and entertain and also educate the students at the School of Hard Knock Knocks stand-up comedy course. That's great advice. What other advice would you give to a comedian, someone who's listening to this podcast who perhaps has done a couple of open mics? Maybe they've done no open mics. Maybe they've, like you, been told, you're kind of funny, you should do stand-up comedy, and they're at that precipice. What advice would you give those people?
Look, everyone's got a different personality and a different way of thinking, so you either want to do it or you don't want to do it. If you want to do something, do everything in your power you can to do it, to just do it. Break the ice. It's like if you've got a crush on a girl or a crush on a boy, and you never do anything about it, you're not going to know how they feel. I mean, they could be totally in love with you and you're totally in love with them, and yet you go on the next 20 years and neither of you knew, and then later on in life you go, oh, I had a massive crush on you when we were younger. Really? I had a crush on you? Oh. Do you know what I mean? So don't live in regret. If you feel like doing it, my advice would be,
do it.
Grow a spine, get up, get on the stage, and just do it. And in the early stages, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. You're going to say wrong things and stupid things, and it's all a part of learning. Comedy is just like anything else you do in life. It's all about eliminating the mistakes. And once as you eliminate mistakes, you get better and better and better and better, and so on and so forth.
What was on that better and better and better? That's good, good advice. Obviously, everyone's different, but for you, going from that very first gig at the SP, and how many gigs, or I don't know if you've counted, but how many gigs or how many months or years was it until you went, I'm good at this. This is really, I'm a comfortable driver. I can take my learners off the front of my metaphorical comic car.
Well, look, if you judge my first performance, I knew everything I had to know the first time I did it.
Right.
If you judge my first 12 months, I was never going to make it.
Right.
Look, there comes a time in anything that you do, once again, anything that you do consistently and you improve. One of the worst things that I've seen in the industry in the past 20 years is there's certain comedians can't be told. Someone gives you advice, take it on board. Don't think that you know everything. The old saying, knowing is the enemy of learning.
Right.
Right? If you think you know it all, you're never going to learn. You have to watch everybody, ask questions. Somebody will give you a joke or give you a line, and that line, it gives you a different way of thinking. And never say, oh, that's rubbish. Try it. I've tried things that people have told me that just didn't work for me. Some things didn't. Something did.
Yep.
You just have to try everything until you find what flavour you are. It's like music. When somebody puts on a Guns N' Roses tune, or when Axl Rose starts singing, you know it's Axl Rose because nobody can sound like him. Well, comedy is a similar thing. When a joke's, or when somebody starts speaking and starts to, you might hear a twang in the voice or an accent or something, and you go, oh, that's Steve Hughes, or that's Ben Horowitz, or do you know what I mean? So you become yourself, and you keep changing and honing and become a different version of yourself as time goes on.
Yeah, good. In fact, you just mentioned two stand-up comedians that will be standing side by side in Melbourne on August the 27th to 31st. I assume that's why you name-dropped Steve Hughes and Ben Horowitz.
I know Ben Horowitz. He's a good friend of mine. I've never actually met Steve Hughes. I've seen some bits and pieces on YouTube. It'd be nice to meet him. He's obviously done great things. And he's very brilliant, very funny, very intelligent. He's just the whole package. He's obviously really, really knows his stuff.
He'll be in the School of Hard Knock Knocks on the 27th. Well, certainly at the graduation ceremony on the 31st of August this month that we're recording this podcast. And, he'll be up there, and Ben will be the MC.
Excellent.
So I doubt very much that he'll need to do much warm-up for Steve, in particular, because Chris Franklin will also be headlining, almost a double headliner for the August course, yeah. Which brings us to your event. So Geelong, and we did talk about Doug Chappell just earlier. Again, a lot of good name dropping in this podcast. August
Speaking of, I'm sorry to interrupt you. If we're going to name drop, my good mate Jerry Seinfeld, who's actually in town right now.
Right. Yeah.
He is. He actually is.
I know he's in town, just not your mate.
Yeah, that's true. He's not my mate.
Oh, you almost had me there. But yes, he is in town. Yeah, I'll see if I can get him on the next podcast, but no promises there. Back to more local performers.
Yeah.
So Doug Chappell, yourself, and we have and Ben Horowitz will be at the Geelong School of Hard Knocks stand-up comedy course, which is on September the 10th to the 14th, which is only about a month away. You've been to our Melbourne courses, and you've sat in and advised at our Melbourne courses. I don't know, could you tell us a little bit about some of the advice you're going to give during the Geelong course?
It depends on the questions. Advice usually comes from people. People ask, is it scary? Are you nervous? Do you get nervous? What do you do to prepare? Now, depends on the questions that are asked on the night. So, the blunt advice would be, just be clear. If you're a stutterer, look, if you're a stutterer, for example, comedy might be great. I mean, there are people out there that have got Tourette's until they start singing and they sound fantastic. Right?
Yeah,
and then if you're doing comedy, because you're concentrating when you're talking, if you're just having a conversation with somebody and you've got a sort of an affliction or something, it'll come out. But if you're concentrating on doing something, whether it's stand up or singing or driving a car, it can make your brain think a different way, and all of a sudden you don't have Tourette's. So just advice, know why you're doing it. Know why you're doing it. If you're doing it just for a laugh and just to see what it's like and to see if you think you like it, then I think you should do it. Try it. It's like skydiving. It's not for me. How do you know? Experience. I think everyone should experience something that's scary at least once in their life. Like, for example, somebody once told me, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room. So
that's good.
So basically, one of the things, apart from death, one of the things most people are afraid of is standing in front of a group of people and talking.
Yeah, that's right.
That seems to be a bigger fear. I mean, for me, it was a fear. It was actually a big fear for me.
Yep.
But I've overcome it, and I'm a better person for it, and it's helped me in my communication with people, my family, my friends. It's helped me in all sorts of different things. Confidence at working with people in the community, people in older, younger, everyone. I can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So it does give you confidence, and you can just tick it off. But it takes work. Just do it.
Just do it.
Take the Nike. Just do it.
Yeah.
Sorry to steal. Just do it, but just do it.
Oh, very good. Well, Dave, I'm looking forward to seeing you and being witness to you as our resident teacher down in Geelong on the 10th to the 14th of September at Beeves Bar. I think it's a landmark for most people who know Geelong. They all know Beeves Bar. Your advice today has been very valuable. I think we've got a lot out of it. We've seen your career and some of the hardships, that horrible accident with your hand, but that hasn't stopped you from grabbing the guitar again and performing. Look, it's great. Thanks very much for your time today.
Not a problem. Thank you very much. I look forward to the course, and I hope I didn't dribble too much.
No dribble. I've wiped it off. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Maury.